Good morning. This has been a tough few weeks. The end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021, it's been tough. And I'm not saying it's tough because of playoff games or politics or the pandemic. To me, it's been tough because of the people that we lost. It started with Kathy Carey. I've only known Kathy for a few years, but she was a beautiful lady. She was always smiling, always interested in you. She always lifted my spirit. And she probably will never know the joy that she brought to me. Then I had a friend, Joe Welch, died at 83. I've known Joe as long as I can remember. I remember Joe's father and mother. Grew up with Joe in Miami. He was years older than me. But Joe was a solid influence on my life when I was in my teenage years. He and Linda were a young married couple, and they were raising kids, and they were always present with our youth group. Somebody that was a strong guy that stood for Christ, that I could look up to. And then Saturday, lost another friend, Ron Carlson, at 82. I didn't know Ron until he was later in life. He'd already had several heart attacks. One of those was rather massive. But Ron was not just an old guy that I was nice to and did things for at church. Ron was my buddy. We ate breakfast together for years. We'd vacation together. We'd go to ball games together. I know some things about Ron that many of you will never know because Ron was too humble to ever let people find it out. He was always asking me about others at church, how they were doing, what he could do. He was a great friend to my father-in-law. That was his job. To me, Ron was like the ever-ready bunny. Even though he was in failing health, he was always going and going and going. He was always at church to work. And for Ron, it was work. Ron probably never know what an encouragement he was to me. One of the things that is bad about growing old, and there's a lot, but one of the things that's bad about growing old is we lose the people that we have looked up to and admired all our life. The people that are such an encouragement to us. Now, I can't remember ever hearing any of those people preach a sermon, even teach a Sunday school class. But there's an old saying that I would rather see a sermon any day than hear one. The New Testament refers to them and to us as the salt of the earth, a light to the world, shining stars, the aroma of Christ. In Philippians chapter 3, Paul writes, and he tells us to take note of them. And I want to read to you from Philippians chapter 3, beginning in verse 17. Join with others in following my example, brothers, and take note of those who live according to the pattern that we gave you. He's telling us to take note of that pattern and to follow their examples as we would follow his. Then I want to read Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 7. It says, remember your leaders who spoke the word of God to you. Consider the outcome of their way of life and imitate their faith. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever. Be safe. Stay well out there.